Molini, and welcome to yet another episode of Conversations with Langosi. Now, this is the news commentary section where we will be offering insightful commentary and exploring various perspectives on the stories that shape our world. The Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution has urged the Chief Justice to exercise restraint when making public statements and to always act with the judiciary's best interests in mind. In today's video, we will be diving into the controversy surrounding Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's recent public utterances that landed him in the hot seat. Chief Justice Zondo has recently landed in the hot seat of criticism for his public utterances. The Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution has urged Chief Justice Raymond Zondo to exercise restraint when making public statements and to always act with the best interest of the judiciary in mind. Now, before we proceed, let's take a moment to understand who Chief Justice Raymond Zondo is and the significance of his role. Utatu Raymond Zondo is a prominent judicial figure in South Africa, serving as the CJ of the ConCourt since November, the year that he was put in. As Chief Justice, his responsibilities include interpreting the Constitution, adjudicating constitutional matters, and overseeing the administration of justice. Okay, now that we understand, let's get into the inquiry that made this Madala famous, guys. The Zondo Commission, officially known as the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture, has played a crucial role in selectively uncovering corruption and maladministration within the South African government and its entities. Under the leadership of Zondo, who was the deputy at the time, the commission may have unveiled a number of shocking revelations, which obviously resulted in a mixed reaction from the public. I say this because those that he singled out as being corrupt called him out on it and humbled those who believed Zondo's findings. The likes of the former president, Koko Macha, Arthur Fraser, and Utate O'Brien Molefe. Before Siagute, let's read a few articles that were published earlier on in the year and the statement, that was issued, whereas they are calling out, or rather, just advising the Chief Justice to watch his tongue whenever he is on public platforms. In an article published on the Sunday World website earlier on in the year, former Eskom boss Brian Molefe has told Chief Justice Raymond Zondo to keep his name out of his mouth. The Human Science Research Council hosted a colloquium on Thursday to commemorate a year since the release of the Commission's final report, and Zondo gave the keynote address. An incensed Molefe was responding to Zondo. At the function, Zondo said Molefe was a Gupta state capture lieutenant whom they deployed at Transnet and Eskom to serve their nefarious interests. Molefe believes that Zondo is overreaching with his running commentary on matters contained in state capture report that belongs to him, of course, that will still be subjected to judicial review before Zondo's courts. Not only that, Molefe charged Zondo's big mouth was compromising hot cases that are before the courts where the likes of Molefe are accused. Quite frankly, Chief Justice Zondo must shut up, vented a livid Molefe. His report says there must be further investigations, and then now he stoops so low in what I view as an attempt to try and influence those investigations. Not only are there further investigations that he recommended, which I presume are taking place, but there is also a criminal matter that is in front of the courts. One really has to wonder, is the Chief Justice exempted from the sub judice rule? Does Zondo view himself as the law? Is he the law? Molefe continued to fume. According to Molefe, it was shocking that the highest judge in the land is subjecting individuals with rights to kangaroo courts and courts of public opinion. Even worse, Molefe believes Zondo is preoccupied with public commentary when he cannot defend his report, citing as an example that he missed deadlines to file responding papers filed by his former ESCOM colleague, Machela Koko, who took the commission report on review. In the statement, the media statement that was issued by the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution, let's get into it. This is what they had to say. On Monday, 13 November 2023, Chief Justice Raymond Zondo participated in a wide-ranging 40-minute interview on Newsroom Africa. In the interview, the Chief Justice expressed his views on several topics, including the implementation of the recommendations of the State Capture Commission, judicial misconduct, and the pending prosecution of former President Jacob Zuma. The interview follows the Chief Justice's remarks at the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council conference last week, in which he expressed views on similar issues. KaSak regards the Chief Justice's remarks as unfortunate and ill-advised. The Constitution guarantees judicial independence and to that end grants judges security of tenure and ensures that their remuneration and benefits cannot be reduced. These measures are meant to insulate judges from political pressure and other outside influences. In return, judges are expected to stay clear of political controversy and everyday partisan politics and to carry out their judicial function impartially and without fear or favor. The Code of Judicial Conduct requires judges to not publicly comment on the merits of any case pending before or determined by the judge or any other court, and to not express views in a manner which may undermine the standing and integrity of the judiciary. KaSak believes that the Chief Justice's remarks in the interview crossed the boundaries of acceptable speech by judges and should be reproached. While answering questions about the recommendations of the State Capture Commission, which he chaired, the Chief Justice ventured into commentary about matters he has no personal knowledge of, even speculating as to the reasons for the government's failure to implement the recommendations. More concerning were the Chief Justice's comments regarding the pending arms deal corruption trial of former President Jacob Zuma, a matter that is still pending before the High Court, as well as his insinuation that the former president may in future benefit from a remission of sentence if tried and convicted. These comments, as well as the Chief Justice's willingness to take media interviews generally, create the risk of perceptions that may compromise his and the judiciary's signed Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution. They also then attached their cell number and Ndondon, of course, because it was issued by them. He's also being called out, guys, by KaSak. Now, amidst all the attention and public interest surrounding the commission, concerns have arisen regarding the public comments made by Justice Zondo himself. A perfect example would be the recent statement that was issued by KaSak, where they're urging the Chief Justice to exercise restraint in his statements and public commentary, because that could jeopardize everything that he claims to be fighting for at this point. To better understand the situation, right, the significance of the situation, let us delve into the significance of the Zondo Commission, the role of Justice Zondo, and the reasons behind the call for restraint. Now, the commission was established by the former president with its primary objective being to investigate allegations of state capture that had gained prominence during his tenure as president. For those of you who do not know, state capture refers to instances where private individuals or organizations exploit their relationships with public officials to gain illicit control over state resources and decision-making processes. Ever since its inception, the Commission has heard testimony from a number of witnesses, which include current and former government officials, public servants, business leaders, and other relevant parties. Notably, the sessions unveiled testimonies of corruption involving high-ranking officials and politicians, as well as large corporations. Justice Zondo's role as the head of the commission is no child's play. His style of handling it was far from being impartial. It lacked integrity, and it only led to some of us questioning the credibility of the Commission's findings. His recent public utterances make it worse because, again, he has now sparked a conversation regarding the line between judicial objectivity and public discourse. His utterances are beginning to compromise the already compromised credibility of the Commission's findings, which he chaired. And he is low key confirming our suspicions about, him being politically biased instead of maintaining the independence and neutrality of the Commission to ensure its efficacy in combating corruption. And I mean, being the Chief Justice makes it even worse because you're not even supposed to be lalela. You're supposed to be, sailing on the Chief Justice mohong wave. Not this one, Chanam. Heybo, not this one. Pela, while a judge is entitled to personal opinions, KaSak, guys, argues that such comments, when delivered in a public and political context, have the potential to undermine public confidence in the Commission. To truly comprehend the significance of KaSak's call for restraint, we must understand the vital concept of judicial restraint. Judicial restraint refers to the practice of judges refraining from active involvement in policy making or public commentary as it may compromise their impartiality or the separation of powers. The principle of judicial restraint has deep roots in democratic societies. By adhering to this principle, judges can avoid being seen as political actors and instead focus on their primary role of, interpreting and applying the law. This allows the judiciary to maintain its credibility, impartiality, and integrity. Many jurisdictions adhere to strict guidelines regarding public statements made by judges to ensure that their personal beliefs do not interfere with their decision-making processes. While judges have the right to hold personal opinion, expressing them publicly, especially in matters related to ongoing cases or political debates, that on its own can pose as a risk. The consequences of judges lacking restraint and engaging in public discourse can be far-reaching. One of the key risks is the erosion of public trust in the judiciary. When judges are seen as biased or politically motivated, citizens may question the fairness of court decisions and lose confidence in the legal system as a whole. Additionally, a lack of restraint can create a perception of undue influence or pressure on other branches of government, such as the executive or legislative branches. Judges are expected to remain neutral and detached from political dependent. Judges are expected to remain neutral and detached from political affairs to prevent any perception, right, or inheritance, right, or attempt to control the powers or actions of other branches. With that being said, as the Chief Justice, he has done little and close to nothing to maintain the neutrality and supposed independence of this commission that he chaired and the outcomes, further diminishing the credibility of that report and its credibility, especially our trust in the judiciary as a whole as a country. That concludes today's video. Remember, the goal is not just to inform, but to inspire critical thinking and foster a diverse exchange of ideas. I appreciate the time you've spent with me today and look forward to bringing you more engaging content in future episodes. As always, be sure to follow us, Conversations with Lankosi, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and also our YouTube channel, Chonga. You subscribe, you follow or you subscribe, light the notification bell so that you do not miss out on any new episodes, right? And then please do visit our website, Lankosi Writes, and share your thoughts and feedback. Enkosini for listening to the Conversations with Lankosi podcast. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay empowered.